Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You know, this is, excuse me,
A damn cup of coffee. Good. Morning, everybody. Oh, I'm trying to stop it so easily, but hold on. Let me play a little somber music here for a moment. Try not to make it as loud as humanly possible, but it's also a good timer right there too. Welcome everybody to Morning Coffees with James. I'm James, and this show that you're watching on the beautiful internet is my morning coffee show. And today we're going to be talking about a lot of topics, and one of these topics I want to be talking about, and I tried doing a video about this yesterday, but Tuesday, 2 days ago, Bellmawr gym owners who reopened were cited, and a member was arrested as local police cracked down. And it's this is a really bad story. Not in the sense of like it being bad in the sense of like, oh, this is terrible. No, it's bad in the sense of like this shit's getting worse. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Like what's going on with my country anymore. It really isn't. It's like, look, I don't blame the president. I don't blame, the I don't blame people. I blame the Democrats, and I blame I don't even blame China anymore. I blame their fucking ideology nowadays. And people are gonna look at this and be like, "Oh, this is ridiculous. You're one of those conspiracy theorist nuts." It's like, no, I'm not. If you looked around your world recently, it's like, look, I'm not a big fan of the Democrats right about now, and I have several issues with them. Trust me, I live with one, and she has, I'm going to say it, she's converted to the dark side, refuses to listen to anybody else, thinks everybody else is stupid, watches CNN, MSNBC, the usual echo chambers, and honestly, you could say the same about me. I watch Fox News, but I watch other fucking outlets. I watch people who are on the left, Tim Pool, David Rubin. Hell, I even watch a little bit of CNN and MSNBC, and I'm going to tell you the truth. MSNBC doesn't really help you give the news. They're fear-mongering. They're just pushing their agenda. They just sensationalize the news. At least Fox News is trying to be like, yo, wake up, America. This whole joke of all conservatives are bad is just not funny anymore. It's like, and nobody has stepped out of their own arena to look at, why do you think many black people leave the Democratic Party? And, because they're tired. They're tired of being treated like dog shit and treated like the victim. Like, it's obnoxious, you know what I mean? Anytime I talk to anybody about this, they kind of like, wow, it's the both problems of the parties. And it's like, you're right, it is both problems of the parties, but from what I gather, and especially, it's both all these three parties, and everybody talks about the two-party system. I'm like, yes, I understand that. But we have a problem with a certain group of people in there. I did vote Democrat when, certain presidents were running. I did vote for Barack Obama at one point. And then, I did that out of fear because Mitt Romney seemed like a crazy bastard and a crazy overzealous religious person. And that's why nobody likes to vote for for Republicans, because they're overly zealous religious. So anyway, to the story. Bellmawr police arrest one member of the I'm going to try to pronounce this, members of the Atlas Atlas Gym on Tuesday and cited its owners for the second day in a row for remaining open in defiance of Governor Phil Murphy, who's another cunt. I'm going to use that word a lot nowadays. It's like, because it's like, Wolf and this guy, Murphy, is a cunt. They're both cunts. Anybody who is a blue state, representative is a cunt. Excuse me, not representative, a blue state governor, because they don't care about the, they don't care. They want their power. And by the way, Tom Wolf owns a cabinet business. His family owns a cabinet business. And he told everybody else in Pennsylvania who wasn't a big box store to close down or wasn't an essential business, which I want to talk about too after this, to close down. But he left his business open. Oh yeah, he's not allowed to lose money, but you as an American are. And anybody who lives in Pennsylvania should be pissed off about that. So anyway, Ian Smith and Franklin Trombetti, I'm sorry if I got that name wrong, the owners of the gym, opened up on Monday after appearance on Fox News program. And they did it to arouse, national publicity and support. And I'm also reading off of this too a little bit. So, the two were charged with disorderly persons offenses on Monday as a large crowd gathered in front of the gym on Browning Road. They were charged with the same offense around 10:30 a.m. Tuesday. Bellmawr police then warned them they could face additional charges. Regardless, the gym remained open around 12:30 p.m. Police began issuing summons and citing to members as they left the facility. Again, authoritarians. This is authoritarian. Oh, you're not allowed to go to the gym. You want to spread the disease and you want people to die? It's like, fuck off. This is what's ruining America. This whole fear-mongering shit. I'm gonna talk about this in just a moment, but one member who later identified himself as only Matt, 39, of West Deptford. West Deptford. I'm tired, I woke up. Don't judge me. No, do judge me. I don't give a shit anymore. Was arrested and charged with obstructing the administration of law after he declined to give the officer his name and violating the governor's executive order. Right on, Matt. You know what? 39 years old? Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Temperatures rose as Matt was arrested, with the dozen supporters who lingered in the parking lot screaming out in his defense, "They're arresting citizens here," one man yelled, while the other men screamed, "This is horrible." And also, by the way, these two, let me go back to there, Ian Smith and Frank Trombetti got arrested for this. And you know what? No, they didn't get arrested, they got fined. And honestly, this is my problem with America nowadays. And then, by the way, this whole mask thing, this is why they're censoring people. This is why, well, the dude didn't dress like that. Let me find a decent picture of this dude, and I'm probably gonna have to, this is the kind of thing that, Officer Anderson talked about. This is the kind of shit that, that one officer was talking about, how, we were supposed to uphold the law, but not, we're supposed to uphold the Constitution, not the laws. Not these, they're batshit laws. People don't get this nowadays, and people are just so, and I'm, looking at some of these cops, and some of these cops, I'm looking at this one dude, yeah, I'm sorry, but this dude, I'm just so tired of policemen, not stopping for a second and being like, shit. Libertarians make this joke about Republicans, being, dumbasses, and, you support the thin line, the police don't give a shit, oh, the thin blue line, what a bunch of retards, the thin blue line. The reason why they support the police, it's because, on the opposite end of this, the police get a lot of shit. They do. They get a lot of shit for doing their job. And that's really the truth. And it's it's hard being a police officer, and I don't care what any libertarian says or any bullshit like that. It's not easy being a police officer. And granted, I know people out there are watching this going like, oh, what, you support the police too? I have friends who are police officers, and I know police officers. I've heard different stories. Some police officers, understand the situation. They're like, yeah, we're, on some days when it's like, when we're not, like, when we're just, giving you a ticket, for speeding or some shit like that, you hate us. But on other days when you really need us, we're there. I understand. They understand that. And they understand the fact, like, I know one officer who's, I'll call him by the name Joe. He talked about this, and he was a really cool guy. He used to be a cop in Baltimore, and he was like, yeah, it's like, they're kind of inbred, like, they're, like, I don't want to go into the whole details about the racism there, but it's like, they kind of treat it as its own gang, because if one falls, one gets shot, it's like, oh, it's hard to be a police officer. It's like, no, it's not. You get shot or you get hurt in the line of duty by some fucking scumbag, and everybody in that force goes after that guy who shot him. And don't tell me it's not a gang, because, or it became a gang. There's a gang mentality there. And then look at Officer Anderson and other officers who spoke out. They either got arrested or forced to quit. Like, oh, you're not allowed to speak out. What kind of country is this where a police officer cannot speak out against the evils that their own police force are doing? Like, you're not upholding the law anymore. You're just you're just pushing this authoritarian mindset. And people want to shit on Trump supporters and the Republicans for being stupid, and no, they love, they like people who do their jobs. Like, granted, I'm really getting sick and tired of the whole, like, these are heroes, the nurses and everybody else. It's like, no, these are people doing their fucking job. Like, I know people out there are like, how dare you, speak against the nurses and stuff like that and all this. No, they've been heroes. They've been, on the front lines, like, protecting us and, giving us Medicare. But it's like once, like, shit like this happens, we all of a sudden, like, turn into simps over these fucking people. Like, and granted, I know people out there are like, how dare you speak against the nurses? I'm not speaking against them. Alright? I'm not saying nurses suck. No. Nurses are great. So are doctors. So are delivery men. So are, firefighters and policemen, EMS. You know who else is great? Garbage men. Yes, garbage men. You know why? It's an honest job. They take care of the garbage. They do the job that nobody wants to do. In fact, there's a lot of people out there that do a job that nobody wants to do. I work HVAC. We don't get any respect from anybody in our construction field. None whatsoever. Oh, well, you give the heat. No, we don't get any. The electrician does. The carpenter does. The plumber does. Me? As an HVAC guy? Fuck you. You gotta move your ductwork because my precious little wires are in your way. Oh, you're not done yet. Why the fuck are you not? Because we don't have the materials, you jerk off. Instead of getting a mini split, you want a fucking full unit because you want that luxury. And again, I know I've been border on this too, thinking it's a luxury, not a luxury. It's kind of a mix. It's like it's a necessity, but it's like not that great of a necessity. It's like you really need your electricity. I mean, but you complain about us when it's, when we have to fix things and have to come into your house, oh, you have dirty boots on. But when the air conditioning or the heating is broken, guess who has to come to fix it? It's one of those things that just bugs me. And again, back to this whole gym thing. And it's like, or the police, it's like, Republicans are eventually going to, like, and this is what I'm trying to say. Republicans eventually, and I know this too, there's a picture there, and that's why I was trying to get, like, the image up too. There's a picture, and I want to try to get it up there. Probably we'll try to get it up on Facebook or Instagram, on my Instagram, for Morning Coffees with James. Or my other one, The Dragon 1988. It's The Dragon, 1988. Look it up. And it's a picture of a guy in it's basically a man in a black sweater getting cited by a very chubby police officer, where another police officer looks on, and in the background you can see a woman wearing a Make America Great Again hat, and you're talking about how dumb these Republicans are and how they support the cops and all this shit. Like, they do, but they understand the root truth of everything. They understand the truth, you know, and most police officers do too. But here's the thing, most of these, like, people who are talking about the thin blue line, they've been supporting the police no matter what. They want to support them because, you know, it's a hard job, but eventually people are going to look at that thin blue line and it's going to get thinner. And eventually it's going to get to a string thin. You know, the patience is wearing thin. Eventually it's going to be support your policemen. And then later it's going to be fuck you, you know, eventually everybody's going to be screaming 187 on a motherfucking cop. And granted, I don't want dead police officers. I don't want war in the streets. This is not me, you know, declaring war or anything like that or harming police officers. Never do that. If you're out there watching this, don't. Because that's like the next step these fucking, you know, globalists want. They want us to fall apart and break down. In fact, you know, the person we should be angry at are the governors who are just not complying with Trump anymore. They don't give a shit. And I'm sorry, but eventually people are not going to follow democracy anymore. They're going to revolt. You know, and, you know, that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. And you people and you know, you think this is going to be okay, but it's not. People are going to revolt. You know, they're sick and tired. And this whole essentials thing, too. That's another thing I want to talk about. You know, people are going to revolt. And it's the people who own these businesses who are, you know, we are all essential. And this is coming from a guy who's working in construction. Yes, I'm essential. But you know who else is essential? The guy who works at Wawa. The guy who cuts my hair. The guy who works at the gun shop. The guy who is runs the specialty store, the cigar shop. The guy who runs, you know, the game store, the guy who runs like the small little shops, those guys where I need to get that, not the big box store, which by the way, you know, Walmart is just letting their doors open, no lines, come in and come out, don't care about the maximum of people coming in there, you know, unless you wear a mask or not, that's okay. But Sam's Club and everybody else, and yeah, and even Target, you can let as many people in as you want, but Sam's Club and all the other box stores that do this, nope, you gotta wait in line, you gotta wear your mask, blah blah blah. This is I'm gonna throw it out. It's the globalist agenda. It's the globalist fucking agenda. Call me Alex Jones, call me conspiracy theorist nut, but honestly, look at your world. Think about this for a fucking moment. Like, you know, stay indoors is not a healthy option. Oh, we gotta protect. Don't give me that bullshit about protecting the weak and, oh, well, it's like, you know what? I'm sorry, but I'll take my chances. I'm a fucking adult, okay? Shut the fuck up. Alright? And no, this is not me being a gym. I love going to the gym. I think it's one of the best things to come out of Western philosophy and Western culture in a long time. Yes, and I'm talking about, like, ancient Greek. You know, because that's where it came from. That's where it originated from. And we adopted it, and it still upholds. I mean, granted, we're not working out in the nude there, and it's not mostly men. Well, mostly men go there, and look, I'm going to talk about that in another video, which I'll probably make. My camera decided that it would be a big pussy and have a weak battery, so I might have to get a new battery for my camera, or I might just have to get a new camera in general. More digital film camera, because I don't feel like, you know, having to wait for my battery to recharge, which takes forever, but yet, you know, will just drain immediately when it's, you know, when it's working too hard. So yeah, that's enough about that. But it's one of those things that just bugs the shit out of me. It really is. It really is, to that point where it's like, yo, we really need to step up our game. And you know, and all these Democrats who are just like, you know, this is what happens when you remove God from your, like, you know, from your culture. And you either resort to statism or nihilism. And I'll tell you this, both are cancerous, especially nihilism, because, oh, nothing matters. It's the same, it's like, okay, I can shit on Rick and Morty all I want, but you know what? Yeah, well, we'll talk about this in another video because I don't want to really like just get into depths about Rick and Morty because I feel like I'm gonna be insulting fans or something like that. But the truth is that nihilism is a cancer upon our culture. It really is. It's a cancer upon our culture, and we really need to stop worshiping that ideology of nothing matters. Or science, in that matter. In fact, yeah, I know people out there, it's like, oh, you're a science denier, and you're one of those crazy religious people who think the Bible's real. No, I don't think the Bible's real. Stop assuming everybody's stupid, okay? And by the way, meanness is not related to being smart. Being a mean asshole and cruelty is being just a cruel asshole. You've lacked the empathy to understand other people. It's really when people say to be fair you have to have a high IQ to understand Rick and Morty. I have a high IQ and I understand Rick and Morty. It's just a drunk asshole who runs around thinking he's better than everybody else, and the whole world evolves around the whole universe, of Rick and Morty evolves around Rick being so smart and being an asshole, and he gets away with it because, cruelty is good and being a kind person is not. Yes, that's referring to Morty. I can go on and on about that. And just the fact that Rick is just an obnoxious character. Morty, we gotta get out of here, Morty. What are we gonna do, Morty? It's like, stop! I don't care if you have autism or not, You're not a good character. You're an awful character. In fact, you're an awful, parody of Doctor Who and Doc Brown, which, by the way, I want to make that Chad Doctor Who, the incel, Rick Sanchez, and the Chad Dr. Emmett Brown. One man has faith. One man has a bit of I don't think Doc Brown was an atheist. I think he was just a man of science who wanted to push humanity forward, and he was kind. He was kind. He cared about a person. He cared about his friend Marty McFly. And the rest of you, alright, I'm going too far on this. But, yeah, tell me what you think down below in the comments. Do you think Ian Smith and Frank Tumberland were right for doing this? Do you think the governor of Phil Murphy should be, is an asshole? Do you think we should reopen America? We should reopen these kind of places and the gyms. Even if you're not a gym goer, do you think we should reopen? I want to hear what your thoughts are down below. And do you think, policemen are starting to... Well, I know policemen are starting to become authoritarians, but do you think Republicans who support the police are starting to see the bullshit and are starting to thin the blue line here for a moment? Tell me what you think down in the comments below, what you think about the story. And as always, take care, love it, bye-bye. And yes, I'm going to say the 3 things that most YouTubers say because, making fun of that is hilarious, but it's the truth. So comment, like, and subscribe. And if you like my channel, good. Tell me what you want to see because I'm trying to make more content on this damn channel before I leave. And I want to mention the Joe Rogan thing later, but I think I already did, so... I'll see you in the next video. Take care, love it, bye-bye. And remember to stay safe. No, excuse me. No, I'm tired of saying safe. Don't ever, don't listen to me. I'm not here to protect you anymore. I'm going to say stay strong. All right? Because that's what you got to do. You have the touch, and you have the power. Take care, love you, and bye-bye. Peace.